Hey everybody, Miss Brigman here, ninth grade English teacher. The last time you might have seen me on one of these videos, I talked to you about symbolism. And I know symbols can get confused with motif, which is another literary term. But don't worry, it's not a scary literary term. I'm going to clear this up for you. So a motif is a recurring object, concept, or structure in a work of literature that may have symbolic significance. So it's not necessarily a symbol that keeps popping up in your literature. It could be just like this concept or idea that keeps popping up throughout your work of literature. It could also be like two contrasting elements, such as good and evil. You see that a lot in literature and works of art, that concept of good and evil, and it keeps popping up. So that's a motif too. It's important to know what a motif is and how to find a motif, because it helps the reader to see main points and themes that the author is trying to express in order for the reader to interpret the work accurately. So overall, a motif can be a symbol, but it doesn't have to be. And the major difference is that this symbol keeps popping up throughout the work. So if a motif is a symbol, it keeps popping up throughout the work. It keeps recurring throughout the work. So let's think of the idea of water in the Bible. Water is a symbol of God's divine control in the Bible. So like in the Old Testament, God created water, in that first 6 days of him creating the world, he created water, and which represents his control because he's the one who actually created it. And then he created the floodwater in the time of Noah. Again, he exerted his divine control through water, in that he wiped out everyone except for Noah and his family. And then he allowed Moses to part the Red Sea in order to get away from their persecution in Egypt. So he was giving his control to Moses during that time. And then in Deuteronomy, God promised to bring the people to a land of abundant water supply. So again, this idea of water being life and God having the control over this life, because he's able to tell them where the water is and lead them to this life. It's through him that he leads them to this abundant water supply. And then even in the New Testament, we see this symbol of water when Jesus turns water into wine, showing that he has control over water, over the life force of water, and he can even change it into wine. So throughout the Bible, water is a motif because it keeps popping up. It's a recurring object, meaning that we see it again and again throughout the text, and it represents the power of God, so it's also a symbol. So let's look at these World War I and World War II posters. What are some motifs that you see in these posters? What are some recurring objects or concepts or structures? So I think the easiest thing is that we see the colors red, white, and blue throughout many of these posters, and I would think this is representing America and kind of trying to instill that pride in you, trying to you have pride in your country, so they're trying to get you up and moving and to help in the war effort because you have this patriotism or this pride. There's also this motif of women in the posters, and this could be working as a symbol because it's kind of representing the importance of women to the war's success. But it could also just, women don't necessarily have to be a symbol. It can just be like a call to action to women. So, but you definitely have this motif because the men were out fighting the war, and the women were left to work in the factories and help out with the war effort here. So let's take a look at the following commercial from Egypt. It's for Panda Cheese. It's one of their products over there in that country. Of course, this will be in Egyptian, but they have closed captioning at the bottom, or whatever those things are, and I can't think of them right now. But you'll be able to read what they're saying, so you're not going to miss out on anything. And as you watch these, just think of some of the motifs that you keep seeing throughout the commercials, and keep those in mind.
فايز اعمل لك معايا سندوتش جبنه.
Just you know why you and I
باندا ما يتقلهاش لا.
صباح الخير يا استاذ طفي. يلا يلا عشان الفطور جايبه لك النهارده سندوتشات جبنه.
لا والله ماليش نفس. Just you know why you and I will by and by.
باندا ما يتقلهاش لا.
قلت لك موتزاريلا باندا يا عبد العزيز.
الاوردر ما فيهوش جبنه.
Just you know why.
والله هو
باندا ما يتقلهاش لا.
ايه ده؟ ما تيجي نجيب باندا يا بابا.
يا ابني ده يا ابني ما جبنا حاجات كتير.
Just you know why you and I will by and
باندا ما يتقلهاش لا.
بابا مش هنجيب باندا يا بابا.
Just you know why you and I
واحده كمان.
باندا ما يتقلهاش لا.
Okay, so those were really funny commercials, huh? I really enjoy those commercials. They make me laugh every time I see them. So what are some of the motifs that you see? Okay, so I always pick up on the music that they have playing. The sweet American music that's playing as the panda's being bad. It's kind of like the advertisers are using this music to create this feeling of calm in contrast to the panda's cruelty. So that whole sweet song is kind of a motif in that they're trying to instill this calmness in you as you watch these commercials, and like saying, oh, the cheese, if you buy the cheese, Panda Cheese, then you'll have this same calm because the panda won't have to be cruel to you. So, and of course, one of the common motifs is the actual panda. It is Panda Cheese, so having the panda in the commercial kind of is important. And then you also see the motif of threats throughout it, and this isn't a symbol, this is just plain out threats, which is the motif because it keeps popping up. The panda is threatening someone in every commercial to encourage them to buy Panda Cheese. He's like saying, not actually saying, but through his actions, he's kind of saying, hey, if you don't buy Panda Cheese, you're gonna keep having bad stuff happen to you. You won't have that sweet American music playing. You'll all have like dark, ominous music, and you'll have even pandas be mean to you, so you have to buy this cheese. And then it kind of enforces their slogan of never say no to panda. So those are some motifs with that commercial. That's all I have for you with motifs, and I hope this video is helpful in understanding motifs and how they relate to symbols, and I hope you're able to apply them to your English work. Thank you.